The Garden of Ink and Bones is a podcast about witchcraft, powerful plants, and making magic. I'm Jen of belladonnaandbones.com, and I'll be joined by occult artist Rue of Old Omen. We're witches who like to get our hands dirty. To us, magic is practical, visceral, and bound in blood to the soil and bones of our spiritual allies. It's time to get your hands into the dirt, do the work, make magic, and feel the witchcraft in your bones. Welcome to the Garden of Ink and Bones. Hello and welcome to the Garden of Ink and Bones, Season 2, Episode 5. I am Jen.
And I'm Rue.
Hey, Rue.
How are you going?
Good. It's great to be back with you again.
Yeah, I'm finally out of my black hole. For all of those that don't know, I've been moving house, but because of the current epidemic with the coronavirus, our only provider in the area fired all of their staff overseas. So we've been in a complete and utter black hole for like 2 months now, but I've clawed my way back out.
Yeah. You've been incommunicado.
Yeah, it's sort of been nice in a weird way, but happy to be here.
Great. I've got notifications going off left, right, and centre. Remind me to. I'm just going to try and turn all those off. But let's continue. One of the things that has been going on is I have been recording videos, and alongside that, you guys heard me say, hi, I'm Jen, instead of hi, it's Belle. I decided that I didn't want to keep sort of fragmenting everything, so I made the choice to just use Jen everywhere. So
yeah, fair enough.
Hi.
You're free.
Rue has known me as Jen for a long time, so that's sort of not a thing there.
Yeah, it's always been one of those weird things too when I'm talking to you about other people and there's more than one of us in a conversation where I'm sort of like, do I refer to you as Belle or as Jen or, and then your old name that I originally know you by of Raheli. So it's like,
yeah.
Even I sometimes I'm like, what do I call you again?
Yeah. And then that's it. And, we all have reasons for whatever names we choose in these things. And as I said in the videos I've been sharing on Instagram and on YouTube, I'm very lucky that I can be out of the broom closet, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
So
how's it been for you over there in your little bubble with everything that's going on?
Look, I think we had a chat yesterday, but we were saying that Victoria seems to be approaching it a bit differently to New South Wales, and I thought that was really telling. Like we have a lot more freedoms down here than you guys seem to. So it's been a bit different.
I was a bit surprised by that. I didn't realize that not everyone has the same. So at the moment where I am is if you leave your area and get pulled over, then you'll get fined on the spot. And if you leave the house without a warranted reason, like going to get groceries, completely essential things, you'll get fined on the spot. So when I heard that you can just like go for a trek out and like wherever you want to go is just, I don't know, baffling to me. I'd love that. I don't know. I'm sort of lucky at the moment. I like where we are now, but it'd be nice to sort of be allowed to leave.
Yeah. I mean, we have technically we're not supposed to go places, but they're not pulling people over. They're stopping people. They're stopping people in parks and things like that who look like they're not where they're supposed to be. But
yep.
they're not. Yeah, they're not stopping people. They're not stopping people from on the street, like it's not stopping you in your car. So
yeah, I know there was a guy here that got fined for just sitting in his car pulled over somewhere. Like it's sort of if you're not on your way somewhere, get the fuck home, which is totally fair. Like it is all completely warranted, and I'm not bitching about having to stay home because it's understandable, but it's just surprising that not everyone's on the same regime.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to fix this. It's just having a bit of a pain right now. Here we go. Notifications. Okay. Yeah, and look, we've been mostly staying home, right? But we've not. We've gone out and gotten our daily coffee. We've gone for some exercise, and we've gone, and done shopping and bits and pieces. And there's possums throwing figs across my roof, I think. So, that's been what's been doing. And today I did go and buy apples and collect mushrooms. So, yeah, probably cheating a little, but we didn't see anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the bit. It's like if there's absolutely nobody else around you, then surely it's okay a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, look, I get it. It's there's reasons for it, and that's what it is. So, we have been home, and part of being home was deciding that I'd do some videos. I've discovered by doing the videos that I use the royal we a lot. Somehow I am, or maybe it's just the multiple personalities reflecting.
Surely it's you and your familiar, right? Wink, wink.
Yeah. Monkey's in all of the videos so far because he sleeps behind me and he just has to be near wherever I am, so that's not unusual. He's looking around like he wants to jump on things, so if you hear clattering, it's because he decided he was going to jump up on this. I've done a bit of distilling, so I ran the still, and I've done some calcining of some tincture herbs and, all sorts of things. So it's really all systems go here.
That's awesome. I wish I could say the same. I've been surrounded by boxes at the moment mostly.
But you did start some work the other day, didn't you?
I did. So for those that sort of would probably piece it together, I've been moving clearly, as said, but I've moved back to, I'm pretty excited about this, quite honestly, because I've moved back to the area that I originally grew up in, which is where I was really heavily tied to the land there. Mm-hmm. And so for the past sort of 6 years of moving out of that area, I've never felt quite at home. So I'm back in that original area. We've got the same river flowing past our house, which is one I grew up near that I'm really familiar with. You've got all that similar sort of feelings of the land, the area, all the spirits that are sort of you've been working with there. And then on top of it, we've got foxes and owls and hawks and wildlife, and it's just feels so much better than living in a city. So I'm quite happy here. So I've got all that to sort of work with too, and it's been nice we had the new moon. I know this podcast is a little bit late, but we had the new moon recently on Thursday, and so that was sort of a good little push, thanks to Jen on her side nudging me along to sort of get everything finally sort of working in the house, because until now it's just been sort of a house of boxes. So setting up altars, cleaning everything, making them all nice again, and then starting to rework with everything and reintroduce the spirits in a new house. So it's been good.
Yeah, it's always nice. So you chose our book for today. Do you want to tell us about it?
I do. So we got Verdant Gnosis, which is volume 3, by the way, thanks to you sending this to me. And
thanks to me being forgetful and buying 2 copies.
Worked out well on my end. But it's an awesome, beautiful little book. I think it's collaborative from what I gather, about 13 different authors, but there's about 8 parts to it. And so what it is this amazing little team of people that put on how would you word it? It's not really
it's a conference.
A conference? Yeah. A conference in Colorado from memory, yearly. And so each chapter is written by one of the speakers there, and it's just a really amazingly beautiful little book. And it seems to be sort of what we're doing here, but in the North American sort of side of things.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll set up a sister conference.
I was thinking that could be fun. But yeah, it's a beautiful little book. So thank you so much for sending it to me.
Oh, always welcome. So it's from Revelore Press, which is Dr. Jen's art, and it's edited by Katamara Rosarium and Marcus McCoy and Doctor's art. It's interesting because Revelore Press is based in Seattle and New Zealand, so maybe there is that option to get them a bit more Southern Hemisphere based
true.
as well.
Very, very true.
So what's the? It's a book, a compilation of lectures from the conference, and each conference seems to have a bit of a theme. They say cultivating the green path, and it's really great. So the name of their conference is Veritas Gnosis Symposium. And they say that it explores the greater mysteries of the herbal art and how it manifests within all traditions, cultures, and practices as the craft of the wise.
And it's really great because there's a lot of authors that speak at it that have PhDs. And the thing that I really loved about this book especially is sort of the in-depth and how much research they've done into what they're speaking about is absolutely phenomenal. Like a lot of the old texts that some of these people have dug up, you're just like, how did you find that to begin with, to reference that? It's a really, and the fact that it is from a conference, it's such a well-written book. It's so concise. They list all their sources, all the people that work on it. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah, it's very well footnoted.
Something to gush about.
The series is actually, I do enjoy the whole series, and they're not ridiculously expensive. They're small. This is 150 pages, but there's a lot more information in this 150 pages than I would wager some of the books that we buy that are 1,000 pages.
Completely. I fully went into this thinking that it was so small and light that it would just be something quick and easy to sort of chew through. And then you realize there's so much information there that you sort of have to almost sit there and take notes and reread things and then go back and look at their sources. And it turns into this whole rabbit hole of just information. It's so amazing.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So we said it has more of a Northern Hemisphere focus. There is a few articles in there on hoodoo and Appalachian magic.
And then a lot of the First Nations people stuff too, which I thought was really awesome that they included, because so much of that isn't branched across here, I find. We don't often find books that are talking about Aboriginal magic and their lore, whereas this has a lot of the medicinal and magical uses of First Nations people. So I thought that was amazing that they included that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems to be like one of those things where these are the people that really understand the place that they work in. Obviously, with Marcus is known for coining the term bioregional animism. So, they've definitely got a strong sense of place. Actually, I got some beautiful work from Marcus recently in his blacksmithing guys. Some belladonna thorns made from metal and some other scribing tools. Just really wonderful stuff.
Yeah, wow.
So which chapters did you love, or which lectures?
It's a big question. I think it all sort of, I don't know, I like the fact that because each chapter is written by a different author, you actually get a lot of in-depth information in each topic because clearly that's what the person's passionate about. I mean, it's all fascinating. I mean, there's not really a chapter that I didn't love. It's talking about magic and plants. So, got that going for it.
Yeah.
But I did like the fact that I honestly don't have a single favorite chapter. I love the fact that it is going into more of your root work, your Ozark to Appalachian sort of areas from everywhere up to also more of your Colorado sort of areas. And then your Native American stuff. It's all great. There was one chapter that we spoke on that I wasn't. Oh no, it's funny. So you've got one that your first chapter sort of focuses heavily on your Nightshade family, which is just really beautifully written, and I think it sort of goes back into what we were having a discussion about on the podcast a few episodes of how some people sort of tiptoe around using these poisonous plants and how to use them, and the sort of like double-edged sword with it. And it shows them in a really beautiful light of how they can be used in these medicinal properties, and then they can be used in these baneful ways, and sort of almost your dosages of like you can use things in minimal amounts, you can push it too much. And there was a really beautiful chapter that probably is my favorite chapter. What's her name? I have it written down.
So you were just talking about Symphonica, Black Henbane and the Choirs of the Dead by Cody Dickerson?
Yeah. Is she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's her name. Her one is definitely my favorite, where she speaks specifically on her relationship with the henbane plant. And I'd sort of wish that I'd read this book before we did that podcast, because she has a really interesting take on how she talks about building that relationship of working with the plant by growing it herself, going through those steps with it, and not just getting to know a plant because you're using it or ingesting it, actually spending time with it, nurturing that relationship, and then having these moments of finding it in the wild and seeing how different that plant feels to her. I think that one is a really...
I think it might be him.
Oh, well, my mistake. Either way, whoever they are, it's such an amazing chapter. It's so beautiful.
I've just found another way for us all to spend money, though, because it appears that Cody is Borealis Ironworks on Instagram and has some of the most beautiful blacksmithing that they've done.
Oh, great.
So that will cost us a lot of money. Actually, it appears that they've been working on some distilling things. Like it looks like a pelican in metal, and which bottles made out of iron sounds available from $213. Really, really beautiful stuff. It's interesting because I've been working on some ceramic alchemical products as well. So and witch bottles actually. So it'll be interesting to sort of see whether I can pick something up from him that will complement that. Gosh, there's some beautiful work here. I'll put it into the show notes, guys. I promise this time.
I'm definitely going to avoid looking at that at the moment while I'm off work.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. No, the Symphonica is a really excellent article. It is it's at that end of working with the plant that goes a lot further than a lot of people would when working with it. And, to be safe, I'm going to tell you guys not to ingest henbane, as Cody appears to have in this article. There are other ways to use it to get a good effect. But, yeah, it does talk about how strong the effect is, to the point of almost being alarmed for their safety.
Yep, that'll do it.
I really enjoyed the next article, which was Putting the Root Back into Root Work by Demetrius Lacroix, and talking about the John roots, so high John, low John, and chewing John. I thought that was a great article.
Yeah, and that's one of those plants that I'm always annoyed that's a little bit less accessible here.
Yeah.
Of trying to find the right roots to the right morning glory sort of family and those sorts of things. But it's one of those things where it's just annoying sometimes that we don't have access to everything that they do, and you're sort of like sitting here reading this and fantasizing over it.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just a matter of finding not the equivalents so much, but the alternatives. You know, those sort of things. And yeah, if we can get galangal here. That's easy. I actually bought some trillium seeds, which is low John, a while back. But they're a very, very, very slow germinator. Like I was told, wait 3 years. So I don't know how that's going to go. But on the subject of things that you wait 3 years for, I planted some golden seal quite a while back, and it immediately just went nah and fell over. and I thought, oh, fine. Obviously, I'm terrible at this. Planted some more. It fell over. Okay, I'm really terrible at this. Let's not try again. Then this year, they've popped up. And I have golden seal. So just one of those things where they've been sitting underground for 2 years, haven't done anything, and then now they're back.
It's weird how that happens, and suddenly they just decide to sprout up. And then suddenly you get it like wildfire in a pot that you'd forgotten about from years ago.
Yes. I had a bunch of little seed pods. There's little ones that soak in water. They're coconut core thing. I put some stuff in them, and we had a leak in the window, the bay window, and I pulled them out and I just chucked them outside, and they went dry, and then the other day I was grabbing them and put some water in them to reuse them, and a few of the seeds that were already in there came back after like being outside with no water for a year. Like, it's amazing.
I've had a few of those sort of things recently, or even a plant's died and I've just gone, I'll deal with that later. Left it for months, and then suddenly one day it resprouts. And you're like, sort of glad that your laziness meant you didn't get rid of that plant, but surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, actually just had that happen with the lemon myrtle. I thought I'd completely killed it, and then looked at it and thought there was just weeds growing in the pot, but no, it was resprouting.
Wow, I didn't. Right. Surprised you could try and kill a lemon myrtle.
It was a little tiny one, and I probably should have planted it properly, but I didn't.
I just expect everything in your garden to be like grandiose and large and beautiful and lush. So I'm thinking like full-size lemon myrtle. I'm like, how do you kill that?
No. This one, the stem on it was like 5 mil. Like, it was a baby.
Yep, fair enough.
Total baby. So anyway, sorry, guys, I digressed. Other great articles in here. Which other ones did you love?
Beyond correspondences, I thought is definitely worth a mention, because I think a lot of our listeners would probably have interest in Agrippa's works. And I think Agrippa's one of those names where it's almost a little bit daunting at times because it's a lot of information that you've sort of got to dig through. So Eric Purdue? I don't know how the hell to say Purdue. That sounds much nicer. Yeah. Hopefully that's the way. But he has a really good little compendium almost that sort of gives you sort of the little key elements that you'd want if you're going to try and start delving into Agrippa's work. So I think that's definitely another one that's worth a mention. And he's also got this really beautiful little written quote at the beginning of that chapter that caught my eye, and sort of, I think to me, it's a good summary of what we do, what this book is about, and what they're doing on the other side of the planet too. And the quality of these gods who are considered earthly, what sort of thing is this? Trismegistus? Sorry, I can't say that name.
Trismegistus.
It comes from the mixture of plants, stones, and spices. Alcipius got that have in them natural power of divinity, and this is why those gods are entertained with constant sacrifices, with hymns, praises, and sweet sounds in tune with heaven's harmony, so that the heavenly ingredient entices into the idol by constant communication with heaven may gladly endure its long stay among humankind. Thus does man fashion his gods.
Yep, exactly. And that's from the Corpus Medicum.
And I just thought that summarizes perfectly exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
we bring sacrifices and hymns and praises to the plants that we work with, and yeah, it's exactly right. It's perfect.
So what about you? What's your main highlights on this book?
I really loved that one. I think that I think that the Henbane article is fantastic. Of course, you can't go past the very first article, which is Corinne Boyer, who we love. Plants in Cursing Magic, Northwestern Traditions in Folk Practices. And she goes through plants used as cursing, in cursing from Northwestern Europe and North America. It's really interesting because it sets the tone that these are people that aren't afraid to talk about this type of work and are comfortable in going deeper rather than just going love and light, threefold law, blah, 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 all those things that we quite freely admit that we don't abide by.
Yeah. I think there was a sorry, I'm just trying to find the page. There was another chapter that we spoke about, that alchemycology, but there was a statement that caught my eye when I was reading it earlier that sort of ties in with exactly what you were saying there. That fear of the unknown, fear of the dark aspects of reality, and understanding of both nature in the larger context and our own mycology and alchemy. Sorry, I can't speak today. Both correspond with the descent into the underworld in order to re-emerge stronger and more refined. And both fields tend to be avoided in the context of our modern culture, which fears the darker aspects of life and the mysteries contained within. If we are to face those fears and step out of our cultural stupor, we must begin to explore the endless lessons to be learned through the ancient arts of alchemy and the wisdom presented by the feudal queendom. In this article, I propose the steps towards that journey, blah, 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 blah. But just the fact that he talks about, and I think that's something that it's weird because if you look at a lot of shamanic experiences, you go through the shamanic death, and a lot of this, and cursing magic too, I think steps into your shadow work. It's breaching these things that, you may not be comfortable with, and you need to sort of ask yourself why that is and look into it. But I think it's worth not turning away from.
Yeah, exactly. And just now more than ever, we have so much time. So many of us have so much time on our hands, and yet I think those that have been listening to my videos may hear me repeat myself a bit, but we, in our isolation, we are seeking community so hard. like people are looking for ways to connect with each other, and that's awesome. But at the same time, it's almost our fear of that isolation and working with the shadow and with being alone with our own thoughts and our own desires and having to entertain ourselves that's causing part of the anxiety. We're afraid of ourselves.
Yeah, which is such a strange concept, because if you think about it, at the end of the day, when you die, it's just you. No one's walking through that door with you. It's just you that you have to face, and you have to face that alone. So if in this lifetime you can't sort of make peace with who you are as a person, how is that going to help you when you continue on? Like, now's the time to do all that shadow work that everyone wants to constantly push away and not think about. Now's a really good time to actually be delving into yourself. And that's the thing that, not that quarantine is great for the reason that it's happening, but I do appreciate that I've actually had some time myself to finally do this.
Yeah. Although I will say, there are a lot of people who just spend all their time saying that they're doing shadow work, and never actually doing any magic. Like, I'm working on my shadow side. It's like, are you actually doing anything? It's like, nothing is a substitute for working the magic when there's something to do. Like, I just get really frustrated at some people who just seem to only ever think about it.
Doesn't really get you anywhere. But I mean, results always sort of yielded of even if you say that, it's going to show in your work. It's going to show in your magic of how much you've really sort of put into it. It's interesting that we're having, well, with this conversation. So about a year ago, I purchased a mare, a horse, because I used to have a horse years ago, and I had to give him up for reasons when I was living overseas and had to move back home. So it's always been this thing of mine that I was going to get another horse when I was ready. And so I've gotten this black mare, and she's awesome. So she was saved from a slaughterhouse a couple of years back, and so that meant that she came with box problems. When you first got her, you couldn't touch her. It took about a week to just be able to lay your hand on her. So during this time where we're sort of closed off from the world, it's been really nice that I've been helping her with her own sort of shadow work in a sense. So she has a lot of fear issues. So every morning we're doing work of what can we do to overcome her fears today and what can we do for this. And it's been amazing so far in just a month's time of seeing how much she's progressed from coming over these fears that she's had. So it's sort of nice that we're both sort of doing our own little shadow work at the moment.
That's beautiful, and she is a beautiful, beautiful horse.
Yeah, she's quite the looker. It's funny, I wasn't looking for it, and it was one of those things where it just, you know, it just worked out perfectly. And it's just one of those moments where like, okay, yep, this is the one I'm going to get. I wasn't even looking in her direction, and she's just so perfect.
Yep. I think that's great because, you know, you've got the opportunity to have her with you at your new property. That just must make so much difference to your relationship.
It's massive because I think that's, I don't know, you've sort of seen it behind the shadows, and a lot of people have of before we moved, of working full time, and then you come home at the end of the day, and then I've got to work on client material, on getting back to people, on booking my own appointments because I manage myself. Then in that time, I've got to fit in a relationship, and then I've got 2 dogs, one of which is a border collie puppy, which has heaps of energy, a beehive, and then my horse. And then my horse at the time, I was adjusting her over 40 minutes away. So I was just spread so thin that I've been burnt out for pretty much the past year of trying to do things that I want to do for myself and then finding I just don't have anything left, which isn't how I really want to be facing these things. So it's nice to have everything at once and have this spare time to actually work on them without that external stress of clients and doing work for other people and just focusing on magic, focusing on the animals, and then, being able to help her through this journey of overcoming her fears, which is also helping me internalize a lot of stuff too, which is really great.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, quarantine's not so bad, touch wood, at the moment here, but yeah.
It's really interesting. Like, I have heard so many people are having a terrible quarantine, and I fully sympathize with that. That I understand that if you're an essential worker, the stress that you're going through. And I have a friend who works at a supermarket, and they're just stressed constantly. And the way people are acting is just barbaric. But I do think that there are a few of us who are out there going, I was made for this. Yeah. I'm actually a real, I'm quite extroverted. Don't send me any messages on that, guys. I know. But the I like people, and I have missed, since not working in an office, I have missed being able to have a chat with people. But at the same time, there was just this moment the other day where I got a newsletter from Kelly Surtees, Kelly's Astrology, and it was when everything changes, change everything. And it just it got me right in the feels. So it was great. It was the new moon, and it was just the right time to make some big shifts and put aside some fears about, being in front of the camera, telling people my name.
That's awesome.
And I've been working. I have said that the last month I've been working really hard on some ceramics work. Setting up scrying bowls and things like that. That I hope to produce. I'm having some technical issues with the black porcelain, but it's just I have had a really good quarantine, but I'm lucky.
Yeah, that's
Don't
it.
have financial stresses and things like that. So
Yeah, we're both in a sort of a bit of a fortunate situation, and touch wood, it's going good for all of our listeners out there as well, because there is a reason that this is happening. And I've sort of been in this little bubble because, like I said, we've moved out west. We had no phone reception, we had no internet until a couple of days ago. So I've almost been completely in the black about everything that's also going on in the outside world too. So it's sort of been nice. And I mean, I'm an introvert, introverts unite in separate spaces. I'm probably too aloof, if anything. So I've been coping pretty fine. But then every now and again, I'll actually be able to look into the outside world and go, oh my God, it's pretty ugly out there at the moment, like sort of in the dark about how bad it is.
yeah. Well, I guess with no internet, you don't have to hear the stupid thing that Trump says every day.
Yeah, but then I heard the most recent stupid thing, and it's like,
It's so mind-blowingly stupid that
who takes him seriously anymore? Like, are there really people that are still at this point going, "Yep, that's the guy we want in charge"? Like, come on, injecting.
honestly,
Oh,
it's just that that thing where he said, "Oh, I was being sarcastic." It's like, no, you weren't. You were dead serious.
it's
You can't
painful
pull
how
it.
stupid he is.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We shouldn't talk about him because he is getting talked about everywhere. But it was probably the biggest news. And please don't drink disinfectant.
No,
Don't inject disinfectant.
don't. No, don't drink bleach. Don't inject it. Nothing. Just oh my God, how is he running a country?
Just.
But yeah, so I digress. What else have you got coming up in your quarantine schedule?
Well, actually, I am going to be doing a webinar. If people sign up to my mailing list, they'll be notified of that and follow me on Instagram at Belladonna and Bones. I'm going to do a webinar on blending tinctures and things like that. I'm probably going to do a herbal basics webinar as well. So there's a few things there. There's lots of magical herbalism webinars coming your way and courses, and some new Magica Herbae boxes. So my subscription box, I'm not going to do it as a subscription box, but I will have some limited release boxes coming out very soon. So really excited about that.
That is awesome. That's very exciting.
Yeah. Met a lovely jeweler on Instagram. She is at Psychic Desert. I think I linked her in my stories, but people can have a look. She's doing some wonderful work, and we're going to collaborate on a set of things, which I'm pretty excited about. It's just this perfect storm of right place, right time to get it out there, and and also I'm doing a lot of work about mutual flourishing. That all the people that are part of our circle, our podcast circle, and our podcast family and things like that, just really concentrating on making sure that everyone comes along for the ride. So
Yeah, definitely create a little community, but it's good. That's very exciting.
yeah, it's been great. I ran the still yesterday and collected hawthorn berries and amanitas today, and
Yep, you were sending me photos of them. They all look so incredibly beautiful.
yeah, I was driving past these hawthorns and just went, I can see the berries from here. They are so ripe and so big.
That's the thing that bothers me about, like, so we both, I don't know if, I think we mentioned it in one of the episodes, of we both got a hawthorn and a rowan tree at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate the fact that I have to keep them in pots. Like,
Yeah.
it's just,
Mine are in pots and they're fine. This is just they don't fruit as well. Like I haven't had any fruit from the blackthorn or the rowan, but I have seen a little bit on the hawthorn.
right, I haven't gotten any from either yet. And I've got a endangered wattle that I've been growing since 2015, and this is its first year flowering. So it's sort of like, I've still got hope, but I'd really love some hawthorn berries. After seeing the fact that you can just drive down and see those like big, beautiful, juicy red berries, it's just like, we don't get anything like that locally here. I think you guys have the climate that's a bit better for it.
Yeah, I think like where I was out in Wattle Glen, and I think it's just that cool, slightly cool there.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. I'm actually having hawthorn and apple tea today.
Very nice. I was just having straight old bay.
Straight old bay, good old bay. I bought a new bay tree because my main bay tree has had some serious fungal issues that I've been trying to remedy. But I thought it's a good time to start a secondary main bay tree, so we'll get that going. Actually, someone commented on a lot of our podcasts weren't going up to YouTube for some reason, so I had to reset a bunch of settings. And so about 6 podcasts went up on Thursday. And so the YouTube crowd have just started commenting on things. And someone commented that they took a shoot. What do you call it when they throw a little sapling off the side?
Oh, the word is just right there on the
Sucker.
tip of my tongue.
A sucker. From at the ground around it. So they got a sucker and they said that they replanted it and was growing really well. So that's really good because, as I said, doing bay trees from cuttings is a little tricky. But because suckers have already got that impetus to create their own tree, all the chemicals are inside them to do that the right thing. So yeah, that's one of the reasons they would have had, more success with that than doing a cutting. So if you have that opportunity, go ahead, do that. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. They're one of those funny, tricky ones.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed, everyone has been commenting, saying how much they've enjoyed the podcasts and things since I've started doing videos. So it's just really great to be back.
Yeah, it is. It is nice to sort of have some normalcy come back into the scheme of things now.
Yeah. Anything else we want to talk about?
I don't have anything exciting to talk about like usual. I'm sorry. I'm still in an ocean of boxes, so I'm hopefully, now that I've got this spare time to actually work on myself, do more pictures and get some stuff done for you as my main priority, and then some little internal stuff to finally put it online. But yeah, I mean,
yeah. Look, we've got some exciting things planned for this year, and if we can all come out the other side of this with our society intact, then we'll get them all to you guys, and we'll be back. Well, who knows when we'll be back? We may even be sooner than a month.
yeah.
Since we've got that little bit of extra time right now. And yeah, if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, please let us know. Any books you want us to read. I know we've got Daniel Schulk coming up. Yeah, a few other things we've been talking about as well.
Yeah, until then.
All right, you can find Rue at...
You can find me at Old Omen on Instagram.
Yep, So I'll put those links in. You can find me at Belladonna and Bones. And also, if you search Belladonna and Bones on YouTube, you'll see a bunch of new videos. I'm doing a daily vlog each lunar day. So, yeah, that's it's something different, and I hope you all enjoy it. So, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you soon.
See you next time, guys.
Hi, Jen here. Thanks for listening. If you like the podcast, tell your friends. And if you want to support us further, you can make a small donation via Ko-fi. Visit ko-fi.com/inkandbones to help us pay for our hosting and production fees. Every little bit of support helps us make the podcast better for you and continue to produce content on a regular basis. Thanks so much. The Garden of Ink and Bones podcast is created by Jen of Belladonna and Bones and Rue of Old Omen. You can find both of us on Instagram at Belladonna and Bones and old_omen. The podcast is edited by Wade Suchadolski. That's wsuchadolski.wixsite.com. And the music is Weeping of the Ocean by Audiosphere and is under license from Jamando. Thanks for listening.